Now though, with this, Notre Dame, set 21061. Already available for pre-order, of course, but it won't ship until June, so it is a June set. Just before anybody points that out in the comments. What an absolutely incredible and magnificent looking set this is. I'm really excited for this one. 4,383 pieces. Now, let's just start with the price. £200 here in the UK. $230, the same in euros. That works out just over 4.5 pence per piece, or just over 5 cents per piece. And to me, I think this is just the best architecture set that we've seen so far. Definitely my favourite. The level of detail that has gone into this is wonderful, even down to the trees. I'm loving the look of those, but of course, just the cathedral itself. Every part of it is brilliant. Nice to actually see Technic pins being used in tan as opposed to the blue that they usually give us with everything else. I just think this is a really stunning set. Fantastic price point for how big it is. Of course, we've got detail on the inside as well. It's a place that, again, my wife really wanted me to take us to. We've never been. I said that we'd go. A month later, it burnt down. Hey, I had nothing to do with that. I mean, sure, I didn't have to pay out then on plane tickets, but in all seriousness, that was a tragedy that happened. And what a beautiful homage this actually is. There's quite a few Lego sets coming up, which I'm not going to be that keen on. I'll forewarn you now. I shall be speaking my mind on them, but on this one, I really am hugely impressed. I ran a poll while I was away on just a few of the sets that have been most talked about, really, since they were originally leaked. And by far and away, this was the one that people were looking forward to most. I am going to be getting it straight away. I think I'm going to put it on display next to the Colosseum, more than likely. And I just think as well, as a build experience too, yes, there's a lot of pieces, but some of the techniques that have been used in here, I think it should be really interesting to actually put this together. So looking forward to that greatly, and it will be available from June the 1st, and I suspect going to be pretty dang popular. Then, let's just mention this, shall we? Because, of course, it was supposed to be coming out, and although it can be pre-ordered, it's now been put back until October. The Mona Lisa. I think that the 1st of October is the wrong date. They should have done this for the 31st of October, because it does look like a Halloween outfit. You know, if you want a picture of a scary-looking transvestite, then this is definitely going to be for you. It sure isn't going to be for me. Really disappointed, because I was looking forward to that, but anyway, it's been delayed, so no more said. I reckon the only time I'll ever actually get this is when it's heavily discounted, and it'll be for the pieces for the frame, because that is really nice. Otherwise, though, moving very swiftly on, we of course have this. Our next LEGO Ideas set, the Tuxedo Cat. Ironically, looking absolutely nothing whatsoever like the original LEGO Ideas submission. Okay, that was this. This is the LEGO Ideas submission that was approved, which is of a Siamese cat, and this is what we got. Just... I mean, there's this one was also a LEGO Ideas. This one wasn't approved. I mean, I'm sorry, but this actually looks closer to what they've gone with than the one that they supposedly approved. I mean, come on. I get that it's an idea. It's something that they build on, they change. I don't really have a problem with that, but literally beyond this being a cat, there's no similarity whatsoever. And it bamboozles me. Like, cool, okay, we've got a cat, but everybody who actually voted for this because they wanted this, they've got this. I don't get it. But anyway, let me know your thoughts on that below. 21349 is the set number, 1,710 pieces, £90, $100, €100. That makes it just over 5 pence per piece, or just under 6 cents per piece. I do like the eyes, okay? The texture that's actually been done on those, that's really nice. I think the overall head, that's been done really, really well. Okay, the general shaping, I like it a lot. I don't like the way that they've done sort of the hip area. That just looks too blocky. Like, if we literally sort of put a line through the middle of this, above the line, that's good. Below the line, no. So, bit of a mixed bag on that one. Overall, though, I do like it. I think it's a cool set. I like the fact that they have given the option to change eye colour and also the mouth. But, you know, I think this is going to have a very mixed reception, ultimately, on who's going to want this. It just once again throws the whole LEGO Ideas submission really out of whack for me. It would be like having somebody propose a Labrador, it being approved, and then what they actually do is a Chihuahua. Still a dog, but I just think this is changed too much. Anyway, also coming is our traditional chess set, this being 40719, 743 pieces, £65, $75, same in euros. I like the fact it's 2-in-1. Okay, you can play either chess or drafts on this, and I do really like the look of the board. It looks very sleek. Certainly from this imagery, you know, that could be polished wood on top the way that it's been done there. Not quite so keen on the way they've done, you know, the sort of greebling around the sides here, but it's nice enough. The chess pieces themselves, you know, they look really good. I do like the chess sets. I'm a fan of them in general. I tend to prefer the ones that are more character based, but I'm liking the look of this. You know, the fact that it's smooth as well, rather than having studs for them to stand on. Pro of that, I mean, it's nice that this is going to be able to slide. The downside with the studs, I mean, they were very loose connected the way they were before. It was quite easy to knock them over. I'm unsure as to whether this is going to make that better or worse, literally until I've got it hands on. I mean, it's just a really nice, pretty thing to have on display. I suppose, how many Lego chess sets do you want? That's my problem. I've, you know, had them already, got it on display. Will I pick this up as well? I really don't know. Nice looking set though. And the fact that it is that 2-in-1 makes it all the better. Really good. A little hefty on the price, but I think you can get away with it. On to icons now, and we have our retro radio. There was talk that it was going to change to a gramophone for a while, but no, the original info was correct. It is this, and it splits opinions. Again, in the post that I did, some people say they like it, others don't. I do. I really like it. I like the use of the colours that they've got on here. I mean, here's the thing. The price arguably is a little high. £90, $100, same in euros. That works out about 10 pence per piece, 11 cents per piece. Here's the thing, it does include a sound brick. Now, that goes a long way towards explaining the price as well. Exactly what that's going to be able to play, don't know yet. If you look down into the description, what it basically says is vintage radio, fold-up handle, antenna, classic power and tuning dial, sliding frequency switch, rotate the dials to emit tuning signals and music snippets. What music snippets those are, really don't know yet, doesn't say here. Not at the moment anyway. Now, it also says you can mount the smartphone in the rear compartment to relish your favourite tunes while bringing a cool retro vibe to your home or office. I mean, I don't get that. Personally, if I put my phone in here and then went to the trouble of closing it back up again, I would then forget that I'd put the phone in there and spend the next couple of hours tearing the room to pieces trying to find it again. But that's just me because I'm an idiot. But really, it's very gimmicky doing that. I can't really see anybody actually. You're going to seriously put your phone in there, have it playing out of it? I like the sound brick concept. The whole phone thing, that's just a bit stupid to me. I think it's a cool looking thing. It's a shame it's so slim. That's not quite as realistic. It could have done with being a little bit chunkier, but here's the thing. Some people have said, what's the point of getting this if you want to have, you know, a retro radio, buy a real one? Well, I get it. I don't disagree with you if that's the way that you feel. I mean, you could probably pick one up for a fair bit less and have the real thing on display. However, the flip side of that is I'm not a collector of older items, or indeed items in general. I'm a collector of Lego. That's my thing. I know a lot of people didn't like the Lego typewriter. I did. I really like it. It means a lot to me. I used to write on a typewriter when I was a kid, dreaming that one day I'd be a famous novelist. Funny how things work out, isn't it? So I do love that, and I like having it on display. I don't have a real typewriter. I could do, but I don't want to. That's not what I collect. I like the fact that it's done it in Lego. So for me, I would quite like to have the retro radio represented in Lego. I'd put this on display. I don't want the real thing. I'm a Lego collector. I do want the Lego format. But that's just my view on it. So I see it both ways. The price is a bit unfortunate, but the sound brick goes some way towards explaining that. It's still one that I'm going to be picking up on a discount. If you watch my Deals of the Week videos, you know things like this come up fairly quickly. So it probably won't be that long until we can actually get this discounted. Now then, let's talk about the big one. Lord of the Rings Barad-dûr is coming in June. Lego gave us our first look at it with this teaser image. Here you can see the magnificent tip of Sauron's tower and a close-up of his eye, which does look a bit inflamed. Really ought to get some cream for that. Here's the thing. Look, I could have waited a few days. We'd have full pictures of all the sets, but I'll do a separate video on that. Put it in the comments below so you can check it out separately. I wanted to get this done. Piece count is 5,471 pieces, and it's a $460 price. Now look, it's been long awaited. It's going to be massively popular. And in my leaks video of about 2-3 weeks back, I pretty much called out that the GWP was going to be a fell beast. A lot of other sources are now saying the same thing. So almost certainly going to be that. 3 minifigures to come with it as well. The GWP, that is. Guessing Merry and Erwin may well be one of them. We're already getting a Nazgul in this Barad-dûr set, so whether we get another one of those or maybe King Theoden, we'll have to see. But you basically want to be picking this up on day one. I imagine those GWPs are going to sell out really quickly, and trying to buy one on the secondary market is probably going to be pretty expensive. So greatly looking forward to this set. I will definitely be picking it up, put it alongside Rivendell. It's going to be, a massively impressive set. Going to take up a lot of space, but it just has to be done. On now, though, to Batman, and of course our Batmobile, based off of the animated series, along with the minifigures of Harley Quinn, Mr. Freeze, and of course Batman himself. Now, here's the thing. The minifigures are all very nice. It's the same old problem with Lego and their colour printing, because Harley Quinn's collar here should be white. Because it's sort of been printed over the red, it's kind of gone a bit pink. Because of that, when I look at it, I kind of just think of cow's udders. That's something I just can't get out of my mind, but don't worry, I'm in therapy for that. Overall, I like it. I think it's a cool set. I don't particularly like the price, £55, $60, €60. I mean, that's like 14 cents per piece. It just seems a bit too high. I'd like to have seen £10 less, $10 less, etc. I don't think that that's reasonable, but a $5 off, that is reasonable, and it's where it should have been. I do understand, the different price increases. I will stand up for Lego in that respect. It's, a quality product. Generally, customer service and things is better than where you'd get from other companies. Not always, but, I do get the value. I just feel it's a little too high. Otherwise, a nice set. Also coming is the Batman mech armor. This is 76270. £13, $15, same in euros. Look, it's just a fun little build. I don't really like the mechs particularly. Generally not fantastic value for play, but this is one of the better looking ones. So actually, as a little gift, pretty nice one to get. Quite happy with this one personally. Definitely one of the better value offerings for what it is. Then also available for pre-order, again coming in June naturally, is our construction figure with the back pod. I'm slightly torn on this one because look, I don't generally like the construction figures, but I will admit this one does look pretty cool. I don't like the head, but the rest of it I think is cool, and the fact that we can get that bike as well. Overall, a tick in the box. It's just, again, the price. £65 does seem rather high. Now, on the plus side, apparently the same price in dollars, $65. So it works out definitely a lot better for yourselves over there. In Europe though, €75. Definitely a bit high for yourselves over there. And then of course we've got our little play set, the Batcave with Batman, Batgirl and the Joker. Obviously just a 4+ set, so these will be printed, not stickers, which is always good. Only 184 pieces, obviously the price being £30, $35. That works out about 16 pence or 19 cents per piece. Same in euros. It's not unreasonable for the 4+ sets. They never work out favourably if you look at it on a price per piece basis, but overall I think it's a pretty reasonable price. We get 3 good minifigures, decent little play set. Again, I think that would make for a nice little gift. So good to see that added to the lineup. On now though to Speed Champions, and let's begin with this, shall we? The Mercedes-AMG G-Class G63 and the AMG SL63. And these do look good. Okay, this is set 76924. Price tag being 45 British pounds. The same as well in US dollars. €50, but still pretty good price for this. It's a good pairing. I think that the Speed Champions lineup so far this year has been really bang on. I mean, it's not something that I've been too fussed about in the past. I've sort of just picked out a few rather than getting all of them. Every single one in the wave so far this year I've just thought has really upped its game, and these look so good. Of course, if that doesn't do it for you, you could always go for your Aston Martin safety car and the AMR 23. Same pricing, of course. 564 pieces to this twin pack. I don't like it as much as the Mercedes pairing, but you know what, still looks good. The AMR 23 in particular, they're looking very sleek. Loving the green as well, just such a good colour. All of it looking really nice. Quite a few stickers, of course, but some printed elements on there. Can't really complain about this at all. I know there was the price increase, for the Speed Champions lineup, but really at this sort of quality that they seem to have, it really just has upped the game in my opinion. I'm not bothered about the price on these at all. Really good, but let me know if you disagree. Interested to know your thoughts on these. And then, of course, this, the Lamborghini. I don't like the detailing as much, but what does it for me is the colour. I really like the colour choice on this. I think it looks super cool, really sleek, and especially at the back end there, just such a good looking thing. You know, don't get me wrong, the front's nice. Maybe it's the exposed studs just here. I don't know what it is. I don't quite like the front as much, but yeah, that just looks really, really good. Price for this, £21, $27, 27 euros. I think, to be fair, if I was over there, I'd be holding out on this one, just picking it up on a discount. Still a really cool looking build though. I do like it a lot. Now though, on to Harry Potter and the much anticipated updated versions of Beauxbaton's carriage and Durmstrang's ship. This is set number 76440. 1,229 pieces, price tag of £125. $140, same in euros, about 10 pence per piece, 11.5 cents per piece. It's a bit of a mixed bag. Again, I feel like this could have, should have, would have been better if it was just a little bit cheaper. I really do think they could have made it just a little bit less. Nice little minifigure lineup, of course. Karkaroff, Crumb, Barty Crouch, Senior, Fleur Delacour, and Madame Maxine there. I think the ship's obviously quite a nice size, reasonable detailing on it. The carriage, I mean, I guess if you're putting it in proportion to the ship, it does make sense. It's just a little bit small in its own right. To me, I think that's a little bit of a letdown on it. But overall, nice set. I am generally happy with this latest wave of the Harry Potter sets that we've had. I do think this one is probably slightly on the weaker side. That's just my take on it. What I do like more, though, is this, the Mandrake 76433. I'm liking the new leaf elements. I think it's a pretty cool looking set. I know that there was originally talk of there being a sound brick in this. Some people disappointed that there isn't, but I mean, ultimately, what was it going to play other than screeching? And if there had been one, it would have just upped the price quite considerably, so better that it hasn't been. I don't particularly like the legs, to be honest. I think they could have done with probably slightly better detailing on there, but when it's sat in the pot, I think it's a pretty good looking thing. I do like it. So again, quite a good one to add to the lineup. Price being £60, $70, 70 euros. You know, it's about 10.5 pence, 12 cents per piece. Then, of course, Buckbeak also coming next month. Really not sure how I feel about this one. There's just elements of it that I really like the look of. Generally, the way that the wings have been done. I like the way that it can be positioned. I think the movability that's in there is good. It's just quite a difficult creature, I suppose, to put into a buildable figure. You know, the head, I like it. I like every part of it, I suppose, if you look at it individually. It's just when it's all put together, obviously being a hippogriff, having those different animals making it up, doesn't look quite as good as I was hoping it was going to, but it's certainly not a bad effort. Price tag on this one, £55, $60, 60 euros. It's a much better price, works out better on a price per piece basis. Oh, hang on a minute. I tell you what I hadn't noticed. I've just seen this. The back of the head here. That looks awful. Why have they done that? I really don't like the way that they've just left it exposed on the underside of the brick there. Oh, why? Like, is that just me? Am I being fussy? Or do you think that just looks terrible? Can I pause this? Yeah. Why? I know you're not necessarily, well, you're not going to be displaying it that way around, I guess, but I mean, come on, I think that's lazy. Shame. Okay, it's definitely lost a point for me just because of that. But otherwise, still pretty nice. One I will more than likely be getting. Then we've got Aragog in the Forbidden Forest. This is obviously going to pair up with the other one that we saw earlier on from the wave this year with the Creatures of the Forbidden Forest. It's going to match in nicely. It's good to get Aragog again. I think this is a decent size, like the printing. One thing that, you know, personally I would have quite liked to have seen, bearing in mind that we've got Barad-dûr coming out, I'd like to get Shelob with versus Frodo and Sam, you know, an updated one. That would be pretty cool, but you know, maybe that's not off the table. Could still be on the cards at some point. Overall though, this is pretty good. Again, reasonable price, isn't it, for a little set like this? £18, $20, 20 euros. One thing that I did think was quite funny is, so you get Harry and Ron with a choice of happy or scared faces. Where would you have the happy face on display with this? Especially Ron, who, if you've watched the films or read the books, is terrified of spiders. Like, there's never going to be a time to have a happy face for this particular set. That's just stupid stupid, but hey ho. I guess it's good to get those double face elements because of course you could always use them in a different setup. Then we've got the potions class, obviously with our minifigures of Snape and Hermione, and then you've also got Seamus Finnegan and Pansy Parkinson. So interesting little lineup there. I think it's a pretty good looking build. Price-wise, £35, $40, same in euros once again. You know, I do think it's an improvement. If we compare it with this, which was a 2021 set, I believe, 76383. You know, I mean, just if you compare them like for like, I think this does look like a better set. So again, quite a nice addition to the wave there. Obviously, how you're going to be displaying this is varied. We haven't really seen anything akin to this in the wave so far, so it'll just be interesting to see if we get other classes or even maybe dormitories of this sort of scale and design that will match in with this. Have to wait and see, but generally, again, pretty decent looking one. Then we have Ollivanders and Madame Malkins. This is 76439, £80, $90, €90. 744 pieces. Look, I probably dislike this most out of all of the sets this wave. Looking at it individually, I think it's good. I quite like the level of detail that's gone on here. It's just that when you put these along with the other diagonally builds that we've had so far, or even the likes of Weasley's Wizard Wheezies, I just don't feel that this stands up to it. It's nice minifigures. The interiors on them aren't fantastic. I mean, Madame Malkin's here. It really irritates me when there's so little floor space. I mean, come on. The minifigure can't even actually stand on the floor. It's falling off. It's just little things like that. Ollivanders isn't so bad. I think the interior on this is okay. It's just Madame Malkin's, there's literally no room inside this. It's a little bit silly. And again, the price, I mean, you're getting the two buildings, reasonable minifigures. It's not a terrible price. It's just, I don't know. What do you think? Seriously, let me know in the comments on this one how you feel about this. I don't like it out of all of them. It's the weakest for me. What I do like is this, and I know that's contentious. It's already been splitting opinions on different forums. The Great Hall, set 76435, 1,732 pieces. Once again, can be pre-ordered if you want to, ready for shipping in June. Price tag on this one, it's quite split. So £170, that's not terrible. Works out about 9 pence per piece, close to 10. Must be like 9.7, 9.8, something like that. $200 though, and €200. That's like 11.5 cents per piece. And again, it's just this price discrepancy, which is a real shame because otherwise this is really detailed. I mean, look, it's the biggest, not just for this wave, but obviously for the haul that we've had. And there's lots of playability here, which is great. I think the minifigure lineup is awesome. It's so cool to get this big fig of the troll. I think it's quite a big improvement over the previous troll that we've had in the past. Again, I know other people are saying different, and that's fine. Obviously, I just didn't ever particularly like the previous one, so I think this is a better lineup. And I think this is going to look really good on display and be fantastic for play. There's just so much that you can do in this. From the British perspective, I don't think the price is terrible. Again, I think it should have been less. Like, it definitely could have been less. This could easily be, I'd like to say 150. That's probably unreasonable, but certainly 160 it should have been. But for yourselves in Europe or the States, you know, the 200 mark, I do think that's a bit rough. Really nice looking set though. There's just no doubt about that in my mind. I like it when there's this much detail and it's something that you can just have on display if you want something that looks good, but also has the playability. Not everything has to be purely aimed at AFOLs who want to display things or purely aimed at younger LEGO fans who just want to, you know, have things for playing with. I do quite like it when you get sets like this that sort of cater to both. So I do like this one. I think it's a good set, but I know it will split opinions. And then just a quick touch onto Creator 3-in-1. We've got two sets coming in June from the Creator theme. The first being this, the Modern House 31153. You know, when I first saw the image for this without the box, I thought, oh, that's another one for the Friends theme. Because, you know, the Friends line has been doing some really nice builds. And then, of course, I saw the minifigs and I was like, oh, is that going to be City? And no, obviously Creator 3-in-1. So you can obviously have this displayed in 3 different ways. As usual, probably the main build is the best there. I don't particularly like either of the other 2 setups. I really like the exterior on this. The Interior, it's okay, but you know what? It's a little bland, actually. If you compare this to some of the recent Friend sets that came out, I know that this is obviously cheaper, but some of the features that you got in those just blast this out of the water. Again, price £90, $100, €100. I find these Creator 3-in-1s very hit or miss. There are certain ones that I see that I really like. Most recently, the likes of the Peacock that we had earlier in the year, or the Giraffe, really like them. This, it's a nice build. Would I spend the money on it? No. Personally, I would save this and put it towards a different set. There's nothing here that's particularly special. That's just how I feel about it. But I do like the architecture, good little parts and pieces in there. Then, of course, we have our second one for the Creator lineup, being our T-Rex as the title character. Very mean and green he looks too. You can, of course, also have it as a Triceratops or a Pterodactyl, and I'm liking this. I do like the creatures. This is where I sort of think Creator 3-in-1 comes into its own. My only problem again is I actually quite like all three of the builds, so kind of makes it difficult to actually buy 3 copies of this to have all of them when you start getting into this price range. I much prefer it with the 3-in-1s where they do it at that lower price, so that if you have 3 good variants, which personally I think these all are. I mean, probably the Triceratops is the weakest out of them, but I like the Pterodactyl and obviously that T-Rex. It would be nice if it could be less. So £55, $60, same in euros. If you did want all 3, it's going to cost you quite a bit to get it, and that's a shame. Now, on the subject of dinosaurs, there are supposed to be 3 sets also releasing in June that there haven't been official imagery released for yet. The first is a buildable Ankylosaurus, namely Bumpy, being 358 pieces, coming with a price of $25. Then you should also be getting the Stegosaurus Lookout build with 420 pieces for $65, and a T-Rex trailer with 588 pieces for $100, but those haven't been officially revealed yet, so they may slip on over into July, but they are currently listed for June. Now, a very quick touch on some of the more juniorized sets. Obviously, the likes of Peppa Pig is also coming, but that is full-out Duplo, so won't cover that. But we've got our 4+ sets here, starting with this one, Gabby's Dollhouse, or Gabby's Kitty Care Ear. Gabby's Kitty Care Ear. That really doesn't sound right. I don't know why they called it that. Again, obviously these won't be stickers, they are printed pieces, 165 of them, price being £35, $40, and the same in euros. Look, it's a fun, colourful set. It's too expensive. The Gabby's Dollhouse was fairly popular, but again, not really at the pricing that it was, and it was heavily discounted in most regions at a lot of retailers outside of Lego pretty early on. So I suspect if you do want to pick this up as a gift, you'll be able to do the same thing. And look, let's just speed through them. Exactly the same can be said for Gabby's Party Room. Yes, you've got slightly higher piece count, 252 pieces, £45, $50, 50 euros. Very colourful. I just think that it's way too expensive. Again, it's not fair. I don't think it's fair on parents for kids to want this, to ask for it, or indeed just for yourselves to actually want to give it to your child and to have to pay this sort of price for it. You want to get them into Lego. Because the other thing is they're not just going to want one, they're going to want this one, they're going to want that one, they're going to want this one as well. Okay, yes, to be fair, this is a much lower price point, £13, $15, but I don't think it's fair to have to pay this much to give sets like this to a child to try and get them into Lego. I seriously think that it needs to be cheaper, but there we go. That's those out the way though. Now let's move on to Disney. We've got the next mini castle in the little lineup. It's the Sleeping Beauty one, 528 pieces, £35, $40, 40 euros. Fairly reasonable. I do like this one. I think it's a nicely detailed little rendition. Here's the thing. We've got our minifigure here, which according to the description is a mini doll. A Sleeping Beauty mini doll, Princess Aurora, dressed in her iconic pink gown and golden crown, blah, 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 blah. Well, that's not a mini doll, Lego. That is definitely a minifig last time I checked. Case in point, minifig, minifig, mini doll. And it is starting to become a bit strange because we're getting some of the mini castles with no figs, some with mini dolls, some with minifigures, and being a princess castle, I understand why it would supposed to be a mini doll, but that is a minifig, so starting to become as confused as a chameleon in a box of Skittles. Either way, if you are collecting the mini castle lineup, you're naturally going to want to be picking this one up, but again, they are discounted pretty quickly after release, quite often by Lego themselves actually, but certainly through other retailers, so probably worth worth just hanging off and picking that up slightly later on. Then you've got Moana's flower pot, and it's a bit of a weird one because obviously we got Isabella's flower pot from Encanto, and that kind of made sense because of course she was all about flowers. Moana obviously nowhere near so much. I do like it though. I think actually the way it's been done is really nice. The fact obviously that it opens up is pretty cool. There's only a very small amount of space inside, but certainly adds some interest. And you know, the little pieces used here, I think it's a very pretty looking thing. Decent size as well. Not something I'd go for, of course, being a really macho bloke. So absolutely no way that I'll be picking this up. Oh, damn, not signed in. Can't add it to my wish list. I mean, price for this is £40. $40, 45 euros. So pretty reasonable. Nice looking, fun little set. Then we've got Snow White's jewellery box, which the only box I can think of in connection to the actual film is the one that the pig's heart was put into. So I'm kind of assuming that's not what's going to be inside here when you open it up. Might be a little bit creepy. But again, it's nice enough. I'm sure young LEGO fans would like it. Just one that I don't think is worth the price. Again, quite hefty, isn't it? £40, $45, 45 euros. Just really needs to be quite a bit less than that, I think. On then to this, Simba the Lion Cub, the long-awaited. This is obviously the smaller version of the two, coming with the little snail down there and also this other piece of rather unappetizing looking food. I posted about this in the community when it came out. Bit of a mixed response. Some people saying they really like it, others not that bothered. I gotta say, I do like it. I think that it's a good little buildable character. Quite, you know, I was gonna say quite reasonable. I think it's very reasonable actually for the price. £18, $20, 20 euros. I mean, yes, it is only 222 pieces, but I think it's been done really well. You know, again, it's very poseable. It's just a fun little character. Reasonable size as well. I think it's only fair, you know, when I'm saying that LEGO overpriced things sometimes, I think it's only fair to admit when they do things right, and personally I think this is actually very reasonable. I'm surprised it's actually not a bit more expensive, so I like it, think it's very good. I will probably be getting that one. And then we have our big version of Simba. Now this hasn't, as I'm filming this, been put on LEGO's website yet, so excuse the photos, but again, it's not actually quite what I was expecting. You know, there's a lot more pieces, 1,445, and it's 130 euros, should be the same in dollars. Haven't got the British pound price confirmed yet. Again, this is coming out on June the 1st, so it should be put on there within the next couple of days, and it's set 43247. It's obviously a lot more detailed. It's a massive price difference, though, between this and the smaller one. The other thing is that this was supposedly going to be Simba slightly older, not fully adult, but more adolescent. I mean, yes, it does look slightly older than the one featured in this younger set. You know, very obviously a young cub here, but there's not a huge amount of difference. So whilst I still like it, I am slightly disappointed with this one. I feel that there needed to be more done to this to make it worth getting this, as opposed to just, you know, if you want Simba. I don't know, there's obviously a quality difference. I'm not saying there isn't. I just feel that for something where there's like £100 or $100 difference between the two, you know, it's a little bit harder to swallow. But anyway, I still think that this is a really cool buildable character. Love the Lion King, so probably is going to be one that I would be picking up. Then we have Maleficent's dragon form. This is different from what was originally leaked. It's been changed around quite a bit. You know, for the worse generally. Maybe they'll revisit it in future and give us it how it was expected to be. But as it is, we've got mini dolls and this version of the dragon. You know, £60, $70. Again, we're talking 10 pence, 12 cents a piece. The dragon's a reasonable size, to be fair. I mean, again, out of proportion really with the part of the castle that we're getting there. I do think it's pretty good. Again, great for younger LEGO fans. I think it's going to be a really fun set. It's just a bit of a letdown in comparison to what we were all, you know, expecting and wanting. So fingers crossed we might still get that. Then LEGO just will not let it go, because they are once again bringing us Elsa's Ice Palace, because we simply haven't had enough of them yet. This is now set 43244, and it does feel like we've got that number of ice palaces now. 630 pieces for the price of £90, $100, basically 14 pence or 16 cents per piece. And this is indeed starting to take the piece. I've got nothing against the subject. I actually quite like Frozen, I'm willing to admit it. And the big, I think it was, I was going to say 18 plus, I think it's actually 16 plus Ice Palace, I have. Looks really good. And for those who don't want anything that big, some of the smaller ones that they've previously done also look good. It's just, why do we need yet another one? Okay, the cow is dried up, stop milking it. The horse is dead, stop flogging it. However, I must say that I positively love it in comparison to this. Ariel's Crystal Cavern, 43254, 141 pieces, £25, $30. I mean, okay, look, I'm sure kids are going to love it, you know, good little gift, I suppose, but again, just seriously, how much can you do with something like this? You're going to get bored very, very quickly, I'd have thought, and it just, you can probably sense my contempt for that one. But if you can't, it's also matched by this, Ariel's Music Stage, £13, $16, same in euros. I mean, at least they've put effort into the back. Not. Yeah, I've got nothing to say. Let's just move on, shall we? Much more excitingly is this. Antonio's Animal Sanctuary. Loved when I saw this leaked. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. Quite frankly, I probably just want to pick this up purely for that. Now, the piece count on this, 310. That's not too bad. £35, $40. I think it's quite a good looking little set, actually, and there's a fair bit of play opportunity in there too. Not bad at all. Love the expression here. That's just fantastic. And then this, the Magical Madrigal House. Yes, we are getting this bigger version. It's 43245, 1,560 pieces. It's priced in at £140 or $160, so about 9 pence or 10 cents per piece. And as you can see, there's quite a lot of detail going on in this. Lovely colours used throughout. It's another one where I think the price would have benefited from being a little bit less, to be honest. I know you can say that about everything, but could have been a bit less. It's not terrible, though. You know, this is a decent size set. Yes, again, it's mini dolls. Take them or leave them, whatever. But the build itself, I like it. It's not a bad thing to have on display, to be fair. And again, it's one of these things, I think for parents, actually, if you can afford it, rather than all these other little sets, which, you know, okay, there's an age difference, obviously, but you can spend quite a lot of money, can't you, if you're having to get lots of little small sets. Whereas if you can afford it, getting something like this is probably a lot better because it's a much better build. I think you're going to have a longer, more enjoyable build experience. You're going to learn more from it as well. And that helps get kids into Lego more. It just looks good. And yeah, the play options are obviously a lot longer. I don't think you're going to get bored with this very quickly. So for me, much better. I do like that quite a lot. Now then, on to Brickheadz, and we will start with Mirabelle Madrigal. Of course, having just had a look at that Encanto house. And I am a Brickheadz fan. If you've watched the channel before, you'll know that. But again, the ones that they've been doing, particularly this year, I just feel that they've raised the bar again. They are a lot better, and I mean, I like the look of this a lot. The hair is really nice. Not as good as we've seen on the likes of Moana or Merida, but it's still been done very nicely. Colours used. Again, you can immediately tell who the character is. Love the glasses. Obviously, the normal Brickhead price, so £10, $10, €10, makes them very reasonable. Then sticking with Disney, but still obviously on the Brickheadz, joy, sadness, and anxiety. I think this is also referred to as fear, depending on your region, but joy, sadness, and anxiety. Being the triple pack, it has exactly 300 pieces, £18, $20. Not so keen on these ones, which is a shame because, you know, I really, really liked the Inside Out movie and looking forward to actually seeing the second one. But somehow these just seem to have been made very young Lego fan orientated, and whilst I'm not against that, as I mentioned earlier, I think it's a strange choice because Brickheadz, you know, it's something that in particular AFOLs do collect, you know, a certain segment of us, and it's not just kids that love this movie. You know, it spoke to a lot of people, adults included, so I don't know, is it just me? Let me know in the comments. It's just, I'm looking at this, compare it to this one. The quality doesn't seem to be the same. Do you know what I mean? Maybe it is just me. I don't like these as much. I'm going to have to get them because I am collecting all the Brickheadz. But do you know what? They're not going to be prominently on display, that is for sure. I'm a bit disappointed with these. We then have our Carl, Russell and Kevin Brickheadz, obviously from Up. And I do prefer these quite a bit more. Not as good as, again, quality-wise, some of the others that we've seen so far this year. I mean, let's face it, the likes of the Star Wars ones that we just had. I mean, that Phantom Menace pack, that was just incredible. Some of the best that I think they've ever done. These not on the same level, but they are certainly not bad. Same pricing, of course, for the triple pack, £18, $20. Slightly surprised that they did this because the actual Up house had a very mixed response. Did well in some regions, did pretty dang poorly and others have been on sale by LEGO themselves quite a long time now. So interesting choice that they've now tried this as a Brickhead. Have to see how this actually does. And then we have these. Oh yes, been waiting for these a while. Legolas and Gimli, the latest duo to be added to the Lord of the Rings Brickheads lineup. And they look absolutely fantastic. I cannot wait to get hold of these. Along with Barad-dûr come June. I like Legolas here, but I've got to say, I think it's Gimli that is stealing the show. Just looks absolutely brilliant. Now, when news of these were first rumoured, it was also said that there should be a Sauron Brickhead as well. That has not appeared like these have, so it could well be false where this was real, but I'm still holding out hope, you know, because now would be the perfect time to actually do it with Barad-dûr. So I'm kind of wanting that to be one that LEGO's been keeping under the radar, and for them to still come out of it, it would make good sense. But now that they've actually put these on here, it does look a lot less likely. So it might be that we are just getting these. But you know what? I will take that for now very gratefully because these are awesome. Can't wait to add them to my collection. Moving on then, let's go to the city theme, starting with our yellow mobile construction crane. 1,116 pieces, £95, $110, the same in euros. But you know what? It's a big size thing, isn't it? And it looks super cool. Love some of the detailing that's actually gone into this. I think you could spend quite a lot of time playing with it as well. I'm very impressed by it. Sort of went under the radar for me a little bit because, again, when we were talking about these during the leaks videos, other ones were definitely appealing to me more. But now that I'm seeing this, it's got to be one of my favourites now, this latest City Wave. I just think it looks awesome. Great on display, great for play. You know, the price isn't bad on a price per piece basis, but just overall, again, when you consider the size of it, actually, pretty reasonable, I think. So looking forward to getting that one. And of course, you can pair with it the yellow construction excavator, this being 60420. £50 the price, $55, the same in euros. That's about 8 pence, 9 cents. Again, it's not bad. I don't think it looked quite as good value as that other one we were just looking at, but again, it's still going to be a nice one. There's the plans for the ice cream kiosk in our little architect's hand there. Clearly what they are constructing. Minifigures aren't too shabby either. We do only get the 3. I think for the price they could have at least squeezed an extra one in there, but I'm not too disappointed. Again, it's a reasonable size. And then the seaside harbour with cargo ship. This was the one that people seem to be most looking forward to. And do you know what? I probably was among that number as well. Slightly disappointed upon seeing it. Not massively, you know, I still like it. I'm just a little bit disappointed. I think that it's a little bit bare around the edges. Could have done with a bit more going on in it. Again, £95, $110, same in euros. I don't know. I mean, look, it's the same price as our yellow mobile construction crane, and actually you are getting more pieces for the same price. In many ways, there's a lot more going on. But because of that, everything is just a little bit more bare bones. You know, the actual cargo ship here, it's a bit small. There's not that many details on the actual harbour side here. When you actually get in close and have a look at it, there's, you know, a lot of bare studs, isn't there? There's not actually that much going on. For me, I suppose that's the difference, because the majority, you know, on this particular one here, of those pieces has gone into the main build. It does look a lot more substantial, you know, and you can obviously do a lot more with it. I feel a little bit let down by this one, but I do still like it, and pretty decent value, to be fair. Just would have liked to have seen a little bit more going on, but maybe that is just me. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Next up, for £25 or $30, the red double-decker sightseeing bus. Nice little looking set, this. Obviously, you've got a few different minifigures in there, including that new pram that's now featured in this. I think that's very welcome. Bus overall looks pretty good. Obviously that top can come off, and there is storage space as well for your different figs and the accessories, so pretty decent price point, I'd say, for this. Definitely one of the better ones. No complaints from me on this one. Then we'll also be getting the tow truck and sports car repair. I'm not quite sure where the repair element comes into this particular set. You know, it's just being towed, but there we go. £18, $20. I mean, look, it's a 4+ set, so again, a little bit pricey on the piece count side of things, but actually I think it's a fun little set, isn't it? So good one to be picking up as a gift. Alternatively, if you want something a bit more sizable, you've got the Robot World roller coaster park, a sort of mixture of arcade and actual roller coaster. Interesting concept. The nicest thing about this is actually being able to get some of these parts in these colours. You know, price isn't bad either. £90, $100, €100. There's others that I have preferred to this, even the likes of the 3-in-1 creator set that you could do a roller coaster out of. I think it's probably better value. But there's a fair bit going on in this. Again, love the different parts and the colours. It's quite good for those, actually, even if you don't want to be building this for what it is. Quite a few useful bits in there. But overall, good sized set. Nice for display, great for play. Can't really complain at that at all. Then we have our car transporter truck with sports cars, £90, $100, so 9 pence or 10 cents per piece. And overall, good looking set. Again, sizable. I like the fact that you're going to be getting those different vehicles in there as well. Nice minifigures too. It's all really about the truck though, and it is a good looking thing. We're also going to be getting the new updated yellow Lego delivery truck for the same price. So it's an interesting comparison really, because whilst our yellow delivery truck does seem to have a bit more details going on to it, it's not that many, and also it's rather incorrect. I mean, I'm jumping ahead, we were going to be coming to this next. But sort of as a comparison, I don't feel that the detailing on the front of this is actually quite as nice as what we're getting here. And obviously we're also getting the extra vehicles in this set as well. So probably to my mind, a little bit better value this one, and certainly more play options as well. Now, the one, as I've just said, that I'm not sure about is this. It's not listed on Lego yet. It is supposedly going to be coming from June as well. Same price point as that previous set. It has more pieces to it, 1,061 of them. And yet, I'm just not sure. Just seems a little bit of a hefty price tag on this one. You obviously get quite a few little accessories with this. Tiny little hot dog stand for some reason, forklift truck, which does make more sense. And it just feels to me like they're trying to justify the price a bit on this. It does seem too high. I mean, I should really be saying it about this as well, but maybe it's just because you are actually getting extra vehicles in with it. To my mind, that just seems to somehow justify it a little bit more. Maybe that's the wrong reasoning. But for this, I'm really struggling. It's great to get the yellow truck back. I'm sure we're all excited for that, but it does seem like, especially the hot dog stand, has just been chucked in to try and justify why this is £90 or $110. The other thing is, I was listening to some of Jang Brick's reviews while I was away, and he pointed out quite a few errors when it comes to the front of the truck here, particularly with the bumper and the colouring over the wheel arches. So go and watch his review. It's very good, naturally being him, but it's a very good point. Again, I don't see why Lego actually haven't got little details like that correct. But hey, it's great to get it back, just a little bit disappointed with the final result. But then we come to this and the return of Johnny Thunder, the Jungle Explorer off-road truck. Loving the Tiger. Brilliant to get that. I like the truck. I think the use of colours is good as well. I know there's been some mixed feelings on the return of Johnny here, but overall, do you know what? I'm happy. I think that it'd be nice if they actually did a lot more returns to the theme. It'd be great if we got a desert line, up next following these jungle ones. We'll just have to wait and see. Now, the price is a little bit harder to swallow because it's £25, that's fine. €30, that's okay. $35. Real shame for yourselves over there. Too much difference in price there. It needed to be a lot closer between those regions. The bigger one is Jungle Explorer Helicopter at Base Camp. 60437. £90 this one, $100, €100, and of course we do get these new gorillas and baby gorillas, and they do look fantastic. The helicopter itself, loving the colours, decent size as well. The actual rotary blades, I don't know whether they turn in the same direction. Oh, yes, they do. See, I was wanting them to go in opposite directions. They are offset in height, so they should have been able to do that. No, I suspect, yeah, you're going to turn it and they're just going to go the same direction. That is a shame. Okay, look, the big draw of these. I think we were all excited when we first saw the leaked images. They're so good. I mean, look, the minifigures are good as well, but it's all about the gorillas. They are really cool. And to be fair, I do like the helicopter. It's just a shame about those blades. But certainly a decent size and not a terrible price. Of course, if you want a much smaller set, you're going to grab Johnny and his red panda, £9, €10, $11. You can't really complain. It's just a fun little set. Great to get him as a minifigure in here as well. And of course, that red panda. And then, of course, you get our Jungle Explorer waterplane. And I love these. They're fantastic. Not a bad price at all. £20, $23. I think it's reasonable, to be fair. Quite a bit of play that can be had with this, and it does look good as well. So overall, I'm just really pleased that they've actually done this. It opens the door to them branching out into other subsections of the theme. Just expands nicely upon the city line. So personally, I am happy with those. But that is it for the city sets coming in June. Little bit of a mixed bag, but overall fairly welcome additions. On now though to Friends. And we have this, the Castle Bed and Breakfast. 42638. £90, $100, €100 works out about 7 pence, 7.5 cents per piece. Makes it a lot more attractive than some of the city sets, but that's sort of par for the course now with Friends, and it's definitely one of the better sets that they've done recently. The thing that puts me off some of the Friends sets is when they're just got too many different colours going on. I think this is actually really nice looking. Love the colours for the age of the property, been done really well. The inside's a bit cramped. I think they've just simply tried to put too many rooms in here. I mean, let's just zoom in on this teeny tiny bedroom, and this sort of, I don't know, workspace down here. You really are having to absolutely cram your mini dolls in. So maybe if they could have just taken out a wall, might have made play slightly easier, but I'm being nitpicky because actually this is a pretty good value set. It looks good. Definitely impressed with some of the Friends sets that they've been bringing out since the start of the year. A little bit more on the pricey side is this, £115, $130, €130. The Adventure Camp Treehouse being 42631. It is, however, pretty sizable. It looks just good fun, to be fair. I think there could be quite a bit of play to be had with this. Quite a few nice details dotted throughout. I'm not a fan of the mini dolls, but you know what? That is a cute little beaver. So I'm sure you can have hours of fun playing with that. Price per piece doesn't work out quite as good on this one, and I do feel that it is slightly overpriced. But that is perhaps a little bit unfair because it's a good size, and I think you can have a lot of fun. Then there will also be the Heart Lake City Cafe, set number 42618, £25, $30, works out about 6 pence or 7 pence per piece, can't be sniffed at. I think it's a lovely looking little design. Again, you've got a good amount of detail on the inside. Just can't complain at the price on this one. Alternatively, for £60 or $70, you can grab the Adventure Camp Water Sports. Again, strange way of wording that. The Water Sports Adventure Camp makes more sense. Nice amount of detailing on the inside and of course the exterior as well. Does, however, feel a little bit more condensed, a bit more cramped. Not as much playability available as the likes of our Adventure Camp Treehouse. Of course, very much styled to go together. Don't think that as much thought or care or attention, to be frank, has actually gone into this one. So a little bit pricey, I feel, for this. Then the Heart Lake City Water Park. Basically, lots of slides and obviously lots of parts in different colours. I don't like this. I think that it's one of the ones that just seems too many clashing colours. But you know what? It's nice to actually get some of these parts in these colours, so I can't complain about that. £70 though, $80. It does feel a little bit steep actually on this one. I think you're probably better waiting to try and pick it up on a bit of a saving. I mean, look, it's going to be fun with the slides, but ultimately just the play options here are quite limited, aren't they? There's only so much you can actually do with this compared to some of the other sets. And I just don't think it's as good looking. So definitely not bad, just not the best, I don't think. It's better than this though. I really struggle with this one. So obviously going back with the whole adventure camp vibe, we have our cozy cabins. Again, fun idea, look good, but they are quite small. Again, very limited on what you're actually going to be able to do with these as a standalone set. You need to have them with those other ones, or certainly at the very least I would have said this one. So it does feel quite limited. I mean, sure, there's some playability. This chap's having fun whacking his chopper against some wood. But overall, the price, £40, $45, €50. I'm sorry, that is too much for this. Of course, just for a fun, cheap little one, your archery range, that is certainly not too bad. The smallest of the sort of adventure camp line of sets, I think you're just going to have more fun with this than with the likes of that previous one. And at £13, $15, €15, it's a fairly cheap one to pick up, isn't it? So can't complain about that. Then at a similar price range, £18, $20, €20, we have our beach smoothie stand. And again, this is just a very small little one. There's not much going on. You're not going to have a huge amount of play with this. I think you could get bored fairly easy. However, you do get a little vehicle going along with it. Obviously, it's just a nice little addition if you do have a load of friend sets already to actually add in to your little world. Anyway, that one's also obviously coming June the 1st, as is the Heart Lake City Preschool 42636. Now, this one is £45 or $50. It's difficult because it's a 4+ set, so obviously you're not going to have any stickers in here. They are all printed elements, but nonetheless, again, I just feel that this is overpriced for what it is. The Friends line is generally, not always, but generally pretty good with their pricing. But when we start getting into this area where you want to be grabbing kids' attention and really getting them in to Lego, you know, grabbing their interest so that it grows over the years, bit of a barrier to entry, I feel, on the price point for these sorts of sets. For something that's cheap and cheerful though, the Beach Water Scooter, £9, $10, €10, can't complain, fun little set. You get a dolphin, a couple of jet skis obviously with your mini dolls there as well. And to be fair, a nice little lookout bit for the lifeguard station as well. So fun little set. I think that's pretty welcome. And you also get the dog grooming car coming as well. £9, $10, €10. Cheap and cheerful. Can't really complain at that. So that is all of the Friend sets coming in June. Some hits, some misses. Let me know your favourites below. But now let's move on, shall we, to Star Wars. After a very busy start to May, obviously May the 4th, we are still getting a few more sets now coming in June. This being the first of them, Captain Rex and his Y-Wing Microfighter. I mean, look, ultimately, there's only so much you can ask of something that is £12, $13, €13. So actually, for what it is, for the price, you really can't complain, or you really shouldn't complain, I don't think. Quite frankly, while still not perfect, this minifigure is a lot better than some of the others that we've seen in much more expensive sets. So just the logic of Lego with some of the things they do, especially with the Star Wars theme, it does bamboozle me at times, but hey-ho, way it goes, I guess. Then this one for £35 or $40, €40. And again, look, you can obviously pre-order this. It's just the case that it'll ship from June, hence why it's a June set. But yes, you can pre-order these already. There's obviously a few fun play features in here. I think, to be fair, some of the printing on the minifigures is great. Overall, whilst I'm not certainly blown away by it, I think that it's pretty nice. I quite like it. Compared to this, for example, I start to have a problem though, and I'll tell you for why. Just on the pricing side of things, our Ambush on Mandalore Battle Pack here. Okay, £20, $20, €22. Neither of these stack up well on a price per piece basis. Let's just get that out of the way. But looking at it as a whole, okay, we've got 4 minifigures in both. Now, I know the argument can be had for the difference in the minifigures, what they are, and that's fine. Let's discuss that below. But just looking at this purely on a bang for your buck side of things, if we say that the 4 minifigures in here are at retail roughly equal value, I know they won't be secondary, but just go with me here. The main difference in the price comes in the build. Now, I get that this is a really small little bit of build. Too small, really, to the point of almost being superfluous. However, the price difference, let's do it in dollars. This is $40, this is $20. Okay, so twice the price. Realistically, that is just the build. You know, if we just want to put the minifigs to one side for a minute, you're telling me that there's $20 extra in this build compared to this one. I'm sorry, there isn't. There really isn't. I mean, this is fairly pathetic. It's just been stuck in there. Yes, this at least has a little bit more to it, but $20 more? Come off it. I mean, let's have a nice, sensible conversation in the comments below, or alternatively, a hateful, heated debate. Either one works for me. But I'm sorry, nobody's going to convince me that this is worth $20 more than that. So there we go. Little rant over, both of those coming in June as well. And you can also be grabbing Luke Walker's... Oh, God, I need another holiday. Luke Skywalker's X-Wing mech. £13, $16, same in euros. Just a cheap and cheerful little mech, and actually got some nice detailing going on in it. I think that a lot of fun can actually be had with this one. So great as a little gift. Overall good minifigure as well. So I think this should be popular. Definitely one to pick up. On now though to Minecraft, and we start with this one, the Cherry Blossom Garden 21260. £23, $28, €28. Look, I'm not into Minecraft, so these don't mean anything to me really, but naturally there's a massive following, so I'm sure that this will be appreciated by fans. That said, Minecraft is one of the themes that in all the regions does seem to be discounted fairly regularly pretty early on, so unless you're desperate for this, I'd say probably wait out within a couple of months, we can pick this up for cheaper. I certainly feature them quite regularly on the Deals of the Week videos that I do, so I won't be surprised. I was just seeing Hamish Blake of obviously Australian Lego Masters on his Instagram. He was doing a Minecraft cake with exploding TNT on top. So it's absolutely brilliant. If you don't follow him on Instagram, you should. Love his podcast with Andy as well. It's pretty awesome. Anyway, we're also going to be getting the Pirate Ship Voyage 21259. Nice little set, to be fair. Like the look of the ship, especially like the look of the camel and our little Return of the Squid here. So cheap and cheerful little set. I think it looks pretty fun. For a bit more action though, you can of course be getting the Ender Dragon and End Ship. £70, $80 the price. Does seem a little bit hefty for what you're getting on this one, but I say that as a layman. I'd say out of all of Lego's themes, this is probably the one that I know the least about. So just the simple facts of the matter, 657 pieces. That makes this just under 11 pence or just over 12 cents per piece. And to be fair, it does look like actually a pretty sizable build now that I'm seeing these particular pictures. So probably quite a bit of fun that can actually be had with those. Alternatively, for £30 or $35, 35 euros, the Wolf Stronghold can also be yours come June, but you can of course pre-order it now. 312 pieces to this one. Makes it just over 9.5 pence or just over 11 cents per piece. Quite a fun looking little set actually. I quite like this one. A fair bit of character going on to it. You're then also going to be getting the Windmill Farm. Can't pre-order this one yet, but still going to be available as of June. Price on this one, £50, $55, 55 euros. So price per piecing, that works out about 11 pence or 12 cents per piece. Definitely one of the more colourful ones, I think. Looks pretty reasonable little build, to be fair. Alternatively, if you want something a little bit bigger, the Badlands Mineshaft, the Minecraft Mineshaft, £55, $60, same in euros. Looks like there's quite a bit of playability available on this one. Price per piece, 10 pence, 11 cents, and Lego haven't put it on the site yet, so it may be pushed back, but there was also supposed to be releasing in June. Set 21293, Badlands Exploration, for about $60. Could be false, shouldn't be, seeing as all the others have turned up. May just sneak on into July, or possibly the, more likely actually, the August wave of this that's coming. But it was originally listed for June, so they may still add it on there. On now then to Ninjago, and we'll start with this, the Tournament Temple City set 71814. Now, powder me with sugar and call me a donut. There is a bit of a price difference on this one. £220 plays $250 or 250 euros. That said, price per piece, it's not bad. 6 pence or 7 cents. And what pieces they are, to be fair. Love the colours of this one. It's obviously a good size build. You can see the dimensions just down here. This is a pretty sizable display piece, and it does look fairly fantastic. Obviously, look, playability on this as well. Really good. You get a very strong lineup of minifigures. I think this is a fairly pretty looking set. You're not going to be shy about having that on display. It does look pretty impressive. So quite a high price tag. We are getting a lot of expensive sets so far in 2024 across all of the different themes. Lego seems to be doing a bit of an all-out assault upon the wallets this year. But then to be fair, they're doing a lot of great sets as well. Probably just because I want to end up buying most of them. That sees me sitting in a corner crying over my bank statements. Yeah, looking forward to this. I think it's a very good set. What I prefer even more though is this, the Source Dragon of Motion. I mean, come on. This has got to be one of the best looking dragons that we've had from the Ninjago theme. In fact, I'm going to go further than that. This is one of the best looking dragons that we've had from Lego, full stop. I think it's an absolutely super thing. £130, $150, same in euros. I don't think it's a bad price for this. Obviously the minifigure lineup has some beautiful printing on it, pretty much what we've come to expect from Ninjago now. But just considering the size of this, I mean, price per piece, 1,716 pieces. So 7.5 pence, 9 cents, just under 9 cents per piece. I mean, it's just not bad value at all. I really like this one. Let me know if you do below. I think it's a really, really cool dragon. In fact, you can actually sit this part on top as well as having it separate is fairly awesome too. Now, alternatively, if you want something a little bit cheaper, you've got the Tournament Battle Arena, this being set 71818. £45, $50, about 7 pence, 7.5 cents per piece. It's nice looking. It's not really doing anything for me compared to the other two. It just hasn't got anywhere near the same level of detailing, which is understandable, obviously. It's a much smaller set. I do think the play options are perhaps a little bit more limited on this as well. Yes, there's obviously some good fun to be had in it, but it is a smaller set, isn't it? With not that much space to actually have your minifigures on. What they have done, though, with this part is pretty cool. You can obviously twist these and that'll sort of make them look like they're fighting each other. So it's a nice little touch. I just would have felt better about this if this particular set had been, I want to say, slightly less. It's not bad on a price per piece basis. I just think that you're not getting quite as much for your money overall. But then, of course, you can also grab this, pre-order it now, Ninja Team Combo Vehicle. £80, $90, that makes this a lot more unfriendly on the price per piece basis. And so, yeah, it's a little bit harder to swallow. That said, I do think the vehicle looks really cool. Obviously, it comes apart, so just the playability options there, quite a bit more. So a bit of fun to be had with this one. I will be looking out for this to add to my Deal of the Week videos, because I just don't feel that it's worth picking this up at full price. But bagging it on a discount, I think this is a very cool looking little set. Me likey. So overall, pretty strong for the Ninjago sets coming in June. So far, 2 more still to go. First of them is this, Cole's Titan Dragon Mech. £90, $100 the price, 1,055 pieces. Not bad. Price per piece count, and come on. I mean, overall, I'm a little bit tired of the mechs, but it has to be said, this looks pretty awesome. Love the colours and the detailings that they've put on here, and I mean, to be fair, look at the size of it. I think that is really, really good looking. I will be checking out Duck Bricks to see if he's done a review on this yet. He's pretty much the expert on Ninjago in particular, so I want to know what his thoughts are on this, but just from these pictures, to me, that looks really impressive. Got to be one of the best mechs that they've done, isn't it? I think so. It's really awesome looking. Can't wait for that one. But for Ninjago, let's finish on something much cheaper, a lot more friendly on the wallets, and it's Zane's Ice Motorcycle. Look, it's £9, $10, €10. It's cheap and cheerful at the end of the day. Nice one to pick up as a gift. You're not going to have hours of fun with it, but equally, I do think that the play options are good for something like this. It's going to be appreciated. It's not going to break the bank. Certainly not like some of the other ones that we're just seeing here. I mean, I do think they're awesome, but yeah, my wallet is writhing already in fear. But there we are. Those are the Ninjago ones. On now to Monkie Kid, and we have this, the Celestial Pagoda. £125, €140, $150. That's basically 7.5 pence UK, just over 9 cents in the States, 8.5 in Europe. But you know what? It is, again, a very pretty looking set. Lots of detail going on here. I think my big problem with this is just the overall height. If you are wanting to have it on display, you're going to need to think about where you're going to be putting it, because it is pretty tall if you're going to have it stacked. I do think it's a very good looking thing. Again, nice minifigure lineup as well. Looks like a good build. Lots of fun to be had again. So very nice set. I like this one a lot. On now though to Monkie Kid's Team Power Truck, £60, €70, $80. Yes, ouch. Again, yourselves in the States getting hit nastily on this one, and it's just simply not worth it. Too expensive over there. I feel bad for you. It's a shame, because you know what? I like the truck. It's quite cartoonified in a way. I imagine that will put quite a few people off, but the likes of the 2 big exhausts that you've got, I just think they're hilarious. I really quite like the look of this. I think it's good fun. I don't feel that, you know, in the UK, I think the price isn't unreasonable. It's okay in Europe, slightly high, I think. But yeah, for yourselves in America, this is just overpriced, unfortunately. So, bit of a shame. Then you've got the 9-headed beast also coming in June, this being 8005 757 pieces for this one. And get ready to cringe again. It's £75, it's €85, and it's 100. Yes, $100. And wow. Once again, ouch, just overpriced for yourselves over there in the States. It's a shame, because you know what? I think this looks great. Wonderful colours. Love the detailing that's gone into this. I think it's just definitely one of the better sets that they've done. Yeah, you've got beautiful detailing on it. Obviously, good size, as you can see from this picture as well. I think a lot of people will be wanting this set. But yeah, $100? It's just Shouldn't be that much. 90 I could argue for, but I really can't at 100. Then on to our last one for Monkie Kid. It is Nezza's Ring of Fire. I can hear Johnny Cash playing already. Look, personally, I really don't like this. I gave my thoughts on the mechs earlier, which I did, really like. This one's just not doing it for me personally. I think it's interesting the way that they've done it. Some of the colours that have been used in here are great, as are indeed all of the separate parts. It's just the overall appearance of it. I don't know, it gives me a little bit of a headache. Of course, if you'd really like a headache, let's discuss the price. So 95 Great British Pounds, 110 euros. Now, you can probably tell where this is going, except you're probably going to have to go even higher, because is it $120? No. Is it $130? No. It is $140. Wow. There should be riots in the street over that. It just simply is not right. Simply too expensive for yourselves over there, and it spoils it. Because whilst I might not personally like it, I can freely admit it's an interesting, good set. A lot of people would love to grab this, and just at that price for yourselves in the States, it is silly. But that's it for Monkie Kid. Let's talk about some of the GWPs promos that are going to be coming in June. Now, in the past, you got 40385, which was this trophy here. Now there is going to be 40688, which is another trophy cup having 157 pieces. Could be a GWP, more likely one for insiders where you can trade in points in order to get it. It's not confirmed for June yet, but quite likely to actually come in there. Then there was 40685, the water park, originally touted for May, basically a set for Children's Day. It's now unclear when it's going to be. It could still come in at the end of May, otherwise it's going to tip on over into June, so we'll just have to wait and see on that one. And of course the fireworks display, again, that's also moved, was originally supposed to be coming in May. It would make more sense if it's in line for Independence Day on June the 4th. Now that one being 40689, 184 pieces, so probably expect that for then. But there we go. Those are all the sets so far confirmed for June. A few more could come on in, so check the comments below for updates. Otherwise, thank you very much for watching. Good to be back. Don't be shy of that little like button and of course the subscribe. You shouldn't deny yourself the pleasure of pressing it. Until next time, happy building. See you on the next one.